Steve and I team up to put together the Cranberry Corner.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not familiar with Plymouth County, which is where Marshfield, where me and Steve are from, it's one of the more conservative parts of Massachusetts. And as you probably remember, there was a lot of people incredibly upset with what happened. So we started trying to recruit people to help other districts. We were in Nevada, where were we? Montana, South Carolina, was that right?
I think Georgia as well.
So we basically set up phone banks in our town and recruited people to come and get involved. And what would you say is important about that? Engaging voters. What did we learn? A lot of volunteers got confused easily.
Yeah.
We had to rewrite scripts several times. But we just basically put out there that we were doing these phone banks, and we recruited a decent amount of people.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that program, the Cranberry Corner program?
Yeah, it was definitely a good-sized crew, and I know your goal was to take people, and even if out-of-state phone calls aren't necessarily hugely effective for campaigns, you recognized that it was important to get people in the habit of volunteering and kind of capturing that energy before our next kind of election cycles were up here in Massachusetts. So it's kind of get them in the habit of volunteering, get them used to making phone calls and kind of how volunteering on campaigns works, and then get them ready to go for when our elections come up here in our state.
So comment from the web. Apparently, Steve is amazing.
And who said that? Oh, nice. Well, thank you, Brian.
So the whole program, I think we made like 600 calls total. The way we set it up is that we went to all the town committees and had them ask their members, and then we used social media, and we did a promoted post to reach out to more people. And the whole goal was to have activities that people could do to get used to running campaigns. Because the campaigning is not easy. It's not normal activity that most people are used to. And we were doing virtual phone banks, which is you would go to a location, you'd get an access code, and you'd be able to call in. I don't think we won any races, right?
No, we made a lot of races close, John, but no, we didn't win.
So then fast forward, and we start moving into the election cycle of 2018. And what we wanted to do is we did a voter survey, where we basically sent out a survey that would ask people their opinions and ask them to share their opinions. That was actually very successful. We got about 200 ID'd voters out of that that were engaged and then came over and started volunteering. What were your thoughts on that, at the actual survey process where we'd send out an electronic survey?
Yeah, it definitely helps to ID voters in any way that you can and to kind of get their views on things. And, one thing I probably should have mentioned earlier is some folks get discouraged if their ID that they obtain is a negative ID, like a 5 or a 4. So basically in campaigns, the Democratic Party goes on a 1 to 5 scale. 1, they're a strong supporter of your candidate. 2, they're leaning towards your candidate. 3, they're undecided. 4, leaning the other way. And 5, strongly against your candidate with the opponent. So, those 4s and 5s are just as valuable as 1s and 2s, because now you know not to waste your time and resources on those voters and to kind of concentrate on your support base and turning those folks out.
So the big question for campaigns is how they convert those 1s and 2s, people who are supporting their campaign, into activists. So we took this survey and we took the people that we knew were identified as supporters, and we asked them what their issues were. And then once we asked them what their issues were, we started basically engaging them. We gave their information to the local town committee. So we have, 27 towns in Plymouth County and 1 city, Brockton. And we gave that information to the town committee chairs and had them reach out. And then once we got that done, so we got about 300 people to take the survey and then distribute it and engage them in either doing virtual phone banks